few of, and it's a little bit different than what we've been doing in class, but it's all about pumpkins. But before we start, I want to remind everyone that we need to be sitting crisscross applesauce. I need to see everyone's eyes on me, and I need you to screw on your listening ears. Can you screw on your listening ears? Oh. Quietly screw on our listening ears. So before we start reading, raise a quiet hand if you can think of where you think pumpkins come from. Quiet hand. Micah, where do you think pumpkins come from? But before they became into pumpkins, where do you think they came from? The ground? Yeah, they came out from the ground. Adeline, do you have an idea?
They buy the pumpkins.
Yeah, well, we have to buy the pumpkins to get to our house, that's right. All right, last one, Amar, what do you think? The store, well, that's where they go after they've grown. But once we read this book, we should be able to understand where pumpkins come from. And how, if we're not talking. So we're going to see. There you go. So this is growing pumpkins. In the fall, we pick pumpkins that have grown big and brown and orange. So these are the pumpkins that we see at the pumpkin patch after they've all grown. But we have to think about how they got that way. Where did they first begin? Pumpkins grow in a pumpkin patch. Like you all mentioned, see all the pumpkins. And that's where we go to get our pumpkins.
My grandma went to pumpkin patch to get 3 pumpkins because it's almost Halloween.
It is almost Halloween, but let's save our stories because we're all listening to the book right now, okay? In the summer, the pumpkin patch is empty. The farmer must get his field ready for planting. See, there's no pumpkins just yet because they haven't been planted. So they haven't.
They're planting pumpkins.
Baby. Now it's time to plant the seeds. So the pumpkin first starts in an empty pumpkin field, and then the farmer plants the seeds. See the seeds right there? And he's putting the seed into the ground. Alright, boys and girls, we screwed on our listening ears, right? That means that we're listening to the story and we're going to save our stories for later, right? Because right now, please sit, stop ourselves. Because right now we need to listen to this story, right? And if we're all talking, then no one else can hear and we're going to get distracted. So let's save all of our great stories for later, okay? So the farmer is planting the seed into the ground. The farmer gives the pumpkin patch lots of water to help the seeds grow. So the pumpkins need water just like we need water. Then the pumpkin plant grows big leaves and thick vines. So now the pumpkin's growing out of the ground and they have leaves and they have the green vines. Soon yellow flowers start to bloom. So once the vines come, we have little pretty yellow flowers that bloom out of the vines. And it's the very, very beginning of the pumpkin. A pumpkin starts to form beneath the flower. Can you see the pumpkin starting to grow?
They're green. It's green.
Right? The pumpkin is green. It's just a little baby pumpkin right now. Young, that's what it says right here. Young pumpkins are green. So when it's still growing, it's green. That's how you know it's not ready yet. They grow bigger and bigger. So we have a little green pumpkin, a medium-sized green pumpkin, and now we have a big green pumpkin. So that means that it's almost ready to go to the pumpkin patch. And then they turn orange. And these are the pumpkins that we're all used to seeing, right?
That's a big pumpkin that grows. That's a huge.
That is a huge pumpkin.
I have a huge pumpkin too.
Some pumpkins grow very big.
I got the big.
Some pumpkins stay very small. See how little these pumpkins are? Oh. Listening ears, boys and girls. Listening ears, boys and girls. Alright, let's use our listening. Let's make sure that we're all making good choices so everyone can be listening. So these are our little baby pumpkins, but they've still grown the whole way. They're miniature pumpkins. So that means that they're gonna stay very small. And some pumpkins are just right for making jack-o'-lanterns. Have you ever carved a pumpkin?
I did.
You
And
did?
then when I went outside, I was like, guys, why did you plant this much pumpkin?
Okay.
There was almost like 10 pumpkins.
Which pumpkin would you pick? That one? So when you go to the pumpkin patch, you get to pick your own pumpkin. But now, when you go, you know where they came from. So what is the very first thing that needs to be done to plant a pumpkin? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Oh, I'm only calling on people that are raising their hands. Joshua.
Seeds.
You have to plant the seed. So the farmer has to go and plant the seed. What happens after the seed is planted? Adeline?
Then he put water on it. I can see it.
Yes, then he watered it, that's right. So after the seed was planted, he watered it. And then after the farmer planted the seed and he watered it, what came out of the ground?
Pumpkin.
No, well, before the pumpkin, what did you see? Remember, it was green and it was coming out?
It was pumpkin.
What's a green pumpkin here?
And they have all that paramedic stuff going on.
So we have, come right back. So here we have the seed, which was planted first, and then they watered it. Go ahead. The seed, which was planted first, and then they watered it. And then what came out of the ground? Leaves, but they're leaves on the vine. And then they move on. And then what comes up next? The flowers, that's right. And then, this is everyone's favorite part. What's the very first thing that you see? Before the pumpkin's ready to go to the pumpkin patch, what does it look like? Green pumpkins. And now what do we have? Pumpkins. All right, excellent. So we have the seed, and then the sprout, and then the vine, and then we have the flower, and then the flower turns into a green pumpkin, and that's how we know it's a pumpkin, but it's not quite ready. And when it turns orange, that means that we're ready to pick our pumpkin and take it to the pumpkin patch, right?
How does it get there though?
The farmers take it on big trucks, on trailers, and they take it to the pumpkin patch.
I knew it. I thought.
You knew it. So, boys and girls, when we go back to our seats, we are going to be filling out and working on this sheet here. And on the sheet, first we're going to put our name and date. So I would put Miss Bailey, and the date is October. The date is October 8th. And then what would we put if we were thinking, using our thinking cap, what would we put in the very first box?
A pumpkin. Seed.
What's the very first step of the life of a pumpkin? Is it the pumpkin? The pumpkin would go first. That would be
The
silly.
seed.
The seed, that's right.
There's seeds inside pumpkins too.
So I'm gonna write my name on the top. Is that I'm waiting for everyone to put crisscross applesauce on their bottoms. I think we need to screw in our listening ears again. Make sure that we're still listening. So I'm writing my name on the top because that's what we do when we get new paper. so we know that that's ours, and the date, so that we know when we did this.
And there's 8.
Yep, because it's October 8th. And then, out of these we have, so we said we were going to put the seed first, right? That's the very first step in growing a pumpkin. So what I want everyone to do when they get to their seeds, because we're all going to have these, is take the seed, put it in this very first spot right here. Take it, fold it in half, and then glue the picture, the back of the picture, that's the part I want you to glue onto the box, just like that. So then when you flip it up, you can see, oh, it's the seed, that's the first part. Alright? Maybe not today. You can take it home in a few days. Is that okay?
No. How about,
No, well that's just too
how about on Friday?
maybe on Friday.
No.
First, we have to finish it before we take it anywhere.
Tomorrow.
So what we're gonna do, boys and girls, if we don't finish it, we can't take it anywhere. So we're gonna, this is the first step. So you know the first step is the seed. And then you're all going to have all the steps right here. And I want you to put them in order. So it's the first step, second step, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So I want you to put them all in order, the way that the pumpkin grows. Can you all do that? Alrighty. I want the fourth table 4 to go. And I'm looking, once we get there, I want you to be quiet with your hands in your lap, waiting for your papers. Alright, now can the third table go?
Table 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, table 3.
It's table 2. Why is the camera on?
Because I'm practicing. Table 3? Where's table 3? They should be at their desks. Table 3 should be at their desks. Thank you. Table 2?
How come the camera? It's not table 2.
And table 1. Sit in your seat, please. You can pass it out to your friends at your desk.
is that?
That's you being naughty. Go get in your seat.
I don't know where.
Oh, I like the way that table 3 is getting their boxes out. They're sitting ready to work. Thank you for just getting out of Go sit. I will get Taylor's paper with them. Thank you, Jordan, for sitting quietly, ready to work.
There's someone in the bathroom.
Did I give you my paper? My mistake. Here you go. Finish up, Bailey, because they are waiting. Savannah, can you sit in your seat? Boys and girls, I'm looking for quiet people who are ready to work. Quiet boys and girls.
Oh.
Amar is sitting so quiet and patiently waiting to work. Amir, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Is everyone writing their name and date on the top of their paper? As soon as your name and date is on, I'll pass out your pieces to the life cycle of the pumpkin.
What's the date? Is the date this?
Yep.
What?
Jordan knows what the date is. I'll put it up here on the screen so everyone can see.
I think my date
Not everyone knows the date.
I know.
Carol, good job getting started right away. Now remember, we're gonna glue the picture part right on there. write the date on the paper?
We're smart. We know what the date is.
Well, good, then right, show me. Show me that you know what the date is about the paper. Here you go. So remember, you're gonna glue where the picture is, and then follow the order of the life cycle.
Get off in minute.
You need to sit down, you're not being a very girl guy.
Like, the whole time this baby was doing that, you're in your slippers, made me sad.
You're only gonna glue in part of it, right? You're gluing half of it.
There you go. Thank you for doing credit, Jordan. Remember to glue the picture part, and then fold it over so you know. So you can fold it up and look at it. Micah, thank you for getting started. Remember to glue the picture part. You guys right there, please, so we know what it is. Thank you for getting started. Glue the picture part and then fold it over. And then keep going in order that the pumpkin grows.
I'm done with my glue to cut down. My glue to cut down.
If you have a problem,
Mine does. I don't have any more glue. You gonna use mine? It's right here.
First, I want you to write your name and date on paper. So,
But I don't know what date
the date is up there on the board.
you wanna make that the date, the date? Yeah, the date.
Remember to glue the picture part and then follow the growth of the pumpkin. The way that it grows. There's some sad ones. Good job. You know what to do with these?
on there?
Are you all ready, Savannah?
Go sit down.
Savannah,
What comes next?
you all in?
I know what goes next.
When you're ready, start working on the rock. Make sure that you
You
get
can
the
just
cluster
hold
not
it
touch
and you
down.
have to glue it.
What comes after the seed? Does it turn into a flame? What is the option? Does it turn into a plant or does it turn into a flower? Yep, you fold it and then you glue the picture part onto the paper.
That's the bottom, right?
The bottom, yep.
This is how you make a game. This is how you make what?
One second, I'll get you. You glue the picture.
I
You glue the plant and then you fold it over.
Look at
You need to go sit down.
But
You need to go sit down.
It's upside down.
want my glue.
Those are the roots.
I'm not that low.
It's
My
underground, that's why it
glue,
looks
but
upside
my
down.
glue messed up.
Yes, I'll get you more.
You need to go sit down.
My glue messed up.
You need to go sit down.
If you're unsure, boys and girls, you can lay out all the pieces, and then I'll come check it and make sure that it's in the right order before you glue.
right here?
Oh my goodness. Jordan, I am so impressed. Jordan got the whole thing accomplished already, in the right order. That deserves a high five. Good job, buddy. Now you can start coloring. You can color in all your pieces.
Right here.
Look at all your choices and think back to the story. What happened in the story? Is it a plant before it's out of the ground? Think about the story. Think how the farmer planted it and then he had to water it and then it was growing under the ground with his roots and then it started to grow. So it was underground, his roots were growing. Before you could see anything in the pumpkin patch. The roots were underground and he was watering it, all the seeds.
Being very naughty today. You have 25 minutes of time out. Okay, stop talking.
Thank you,
Clean
Selena.
up.
Are you just feeding?
Let's go in the middle.
and girls, if we have questions, I need you to raise your hand. Because
How
if
come I
everyone's,
got two of these?
if everyone's talking to me at the exact same time, I can't hear everyone at once. So you need to raise your hand and I will come and help you.
I got two of
Is it
these.
picture, sweetie?
I got the same as these.
They're not the same. This one says green pumpkin and that one says orange pumpkin, but they do look the same. See the green pumpkin? The green pumpkin is the smaller one, and the orange pumpkin is the bigger one. That's when he's all grown. When the pumpkin's all grown, then he's big.
Is this one right here?
Where do you think it goes? Do you think he goes from being in the ground to being a full-grown pumpkin?
Look at my top.
You don't think that maybe he has to turn into a plant or a flower or a green pumpkin first?
Look at my top.
Make sure you glue the picture, and then you can fold it over, and that shows you what it is, okay, sweetie? Yes, sir.
Go ahead. I put you on pink.
These two go on the bottom. Look them over. Yeah.
Maddie, I need you to put certain seat mark on your work, okay? We don't need to worry about what our friends are doing. Good job. Can we just put these to where we glue the paint, or the picture instead of the words? And then it'll be perfect, and then you can start coloring. Good job. Good job. Keep going. Think about the story. Think about it. Think how the pumpkin grows and how it has to turn into a vine and a flower. Think about it. Think back to the story. Remember, he planted the seed, he watered it, it was growing underground, and then it turned into a vine, and the vine sprouted a flower, and then it was a green pumpkin, and then it turned into a big orange pumpkin. Okay. Is it that one before?
Look at
Did the flower come before the plant, or did the plant come before the flower?
I did mine just like this. I did it just like the thing. So, the seed was black, this was green, this was
Right
green,
here.
this was yellow, this was green.
So we have seed, sprout, flower, and then orange pumpkin. And you did, I know what you were doing now. You got seed, sprout, but before, see how it's a sprout underground?
I kind of messed it up, but I did it on this part.
That's okay, just glue the right side down. Just make sure you glue the picture down. Seed, sprout, I will look at it as soon as you sit down and raise your hand. Seed, sprout, but is it a flower before it really comes out of the ground? The plant should go where the flower is. Boys and girls, if you need my help, please raise your hand and I'll be right there.
Miss Bailey, she's teaching today. Bailey, you can get started now.
And then the next step is an orange pumpkin. It goes straight from the pumpkin to the plant. Now, what do you think comes after the plant? I know what you were doing, you just had to sort it backwards. So there.
I
The
kinda
flower
did
goes
it.
there,
I
and
kinda
then it
did it
goes
backwards.
flower, green pumpkin, and then orange pumpkin. Good job, you can start coloring. I'm looking for quiet hands, those are the friends I'm gonna help first. I'm looking for a quiet hand. See, sprout, plant, flower. Good, just make sure that one's turned the right way.
I'm gonna show when it's
Flip it upside down, and then you can start coloring. Good job. Good job. Good job, Micah. You're all set, you can start. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. You know what you can do now? Since you were such an awesome worker today, to help you out, so you know, you can write 1, 2, 3, so you know which one comes. So when people are looking at it, they can be like, oh, this is the first one. It's a seed. And they can look at it. Can you do that? Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you for raising your hand quietly and waiting for me. Think back to the story. Oh, I think you have a pretty good idea in your hand right there. I think you had a good start. That's the one I would go with if I were you. Sadie. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. And then I know what you're doing. And then you went to 4 over here. But we need to switch 4 to over here. See the arrows, how they point down?
You gotta follow the arrows.
Yeah, you have to follow the arrows, but you did a great job. There, can you re-glue those? And then you're all set.
You need to be out to PE right now, and then we can finish during rest time. You just have their caps and their glue.
I mean,
Hey, listen.
3.
You're out of your seat, friend. You want to turn off your,
Show me, place them where you think that they go, and then after PE, I'll check them and make sure they're right. You don't have to glue them, just place them where you think. Alright, boys and girls, everyone who's not finished, just put your caps on your glue. We're about to go out to PE. Put your crayons back into your boxes. And get ready to go. You can work on it later. If it's not done coloring, just put your crayons back in your box and leave it on your desk, then we can work on it later. Boys and girls, everyone who's out in your seats, please go back and sit down. When everyone's quiet and sitting, we'll make sure we go to PE, but we don't want to be late. So I'm waiting for everyone to sit, facing the way they're supposed to be facing. Nice and quiet. Can we all please put our pencils down? Thank you. All right, and go line up.